Hey everybody, I'm back. So, I finally defeated Staunton. Nura's gone. My guys are... They just got the shit kicked out of them, especially Reynard. But it's over now.
The commander of the crusade has managed to overthrow 70 years of demonic rule in Dresden and restored the Sword of Valor to its rightful place. Will the commander be able to defend the banner he has won with such a valiant effort?
Urgent matters of state are awaiting my attention. My convoy will be departing for the capital within the hour. I'm afraid this is all the time I can spare you. So do please forgive me for skipping the lengthy and well-deserved congratulations. Dresden was taken quickly, even more quickly than I'd anticipated. Every death is an irretrievable loss, but considering the scale of our forces, the losses among our troops are tolerable. Morale is high among the crusade forces that were entrusted to you. You handled the command superbly. I never doubted your personal ability to deal with the demons. I knew that you could become a living symbol for people to follow. That you have now displayed a decent head for tactics is a pleasant surprise. I believed in your success and prepared for this outcome after a fashion. I brought a reward to personally bestow upon my Knight Commander. But now, I think this reward is insufficient. So please, accept one more gift from me personally.
What if I just got lucky?
This won't be your last battle, so in time we shall see if this victory was a fluke or not. Now on to the main matter. The Sword of Valor has been returned to us. Touching it has awoken your power and changed the great relic beyond recognition. Many clerics are at a loss to interpret this unexpected turn. Is it an omen? Happenstance? A warning? Only one thing can be said for certain. Your power is astonishing and unlike anything ever seen before. Your power bears little resemblance to other manifestations of the Inheritor's will that I have been fortunate enough to witness. But who can fathom the god's designs? And Iomedae has many heavenly allies, and they helped us on several occasions throughout the Crusades. There. I have said all I wish to. Is there anything you wish to discuss with me before I depart?
There is something you should know. Arilu Vorlish appeared before me in Dresden. She did not explain why she had come.
The architect of the World Wound? Here? And she allowed you to simply dispose of Stanchion Vane and claim the Sword of Valor? This is a very worrying development. Aurelia was more dangerous than a dozen Balors, and more cunning and deceitful than a score of succubi. In the 100 years of the Crusades, our forces have very rarely encountered her, but when we did, it always led to something terrifying. I think she has taken an interest in you and your power. It was to be expected, of course, and it worries me more than anything else. Sooner or later, we shall have to take a stand against Aurilu and deal with her once and for all. But I thought we would have time to prepare. Be careful. And if the architect reappears, treat her as you would a demon lord.
Do you know anything about the huge demon that we met at the gates? It was much stronger than the rest.
The Baylor Dorazand, one of Daskari's generals. He, Hep Zamira, and the Echo of Daskari are some of the most notable demons in the Abyssal Forces. You will soon learn these names. Dorazand has not been sighted by our scouts for a long time, and his appearance at Dresden was an unexpected development. But we must grow accustomed to surprises such as this. The ability to move at will through space is one of the demon's most unpleasant hallmarks. Fortunately, the Sword of Valor takes care of that problem for the areas around Dresden.
I have heard everything I need.
Very well. Then I shall take my leave. Irabeth will bring you up to speed on the situation in the city and surrounds, and together, you can decide on what next steps to take. Good luck, Commander. Remember, this is but the first step. The road ahead will be long and difficult.
Allow me also to congratulate you on your victory, Commander. We won the battle for Dresden, but this war is far from over. The demons know our true strength, so we must brace ourselves for a merciless counterattack. They will do everything they can to gain control of the city and destroy you personally, and all of us along with you. The only good news is that cultists make up more than half of their forces, so they will have to march the same roads as our fighters. If they were all demons, they could appear here instantaneously and lay siege to the city. Praise Iomade for small mercies. The main demon forces are moving out from the City of Eyes and the Threshold Fortress. Scouts are reporting that for now, we don't stand a chance of tearing through the defense and launching a counterattack. We can only gather our forces, rebuff their attacks, and wait for the right moment. Unfortunately, other hostile groups keep appearing out of nowhere. And on top of all that, Minago is still prowling around somewhere out there. Anevia is trying to find out where that Abyss scum has run off to. Maybe she's already got some leads. Luckily, we are not alone. Mendev is with us. Queen Galfrey has sent us the first reinforcements. They've just entered the city. Besides, news of your victory is spreading through Avestan. I'm sure that crowds of new volunteers will soon be pouring into Dresden, inspired by your feat. And that's very good news, because we're going to need troops. Here is a brief report about the main problems we're currently facing.
What can you tell me about the demons with special powers?
Remember that Nabasu that attacked our camp? He had powers that no ordinary demon should have. It is not the only demon of its kind. We keep receiving reports about similar monsters. All isolated cases for now. But it's possible that in the future, we will see entire squads, if not armies of them. We must find out where they're coming from. Find the source of their power and destroy it. If we don't, they will crush us before long. Even you can't defeat an entire army of such monsters.
Secret path? What are you talking about?
We can usually spot armies of demons in advance, as their hordes march along the Grey Road from Eyes or Threshold. But sometimes packs of them appear out of nowhere. They're managing to avoid our scouts somehow and sneaking into our territory. If we don't solve this problem, we cannot attack. The demons will just appear at our backs, block off the gorges and cut us off from Dresden. Anevia is trying to find out how the demons are getting into our territory, but she hasn't succeeded yet. Talk to her. She will tell you more about what she's doing.
There's a patrol missing?
Yes, it disappeared without a trace during a mission. We didn't even find any bodies. Maybe someone abducted them, or there's some natural threat in the area. We can't rule out the possibility of desertion, either. The troop was patrolling the southern road out of the city. The last surviving settlements of Sikoris lie in that direction. But after the siege of Dresden, contact with them was lost. Hardly any of the inhabitants survived once the demons invaded the area. That's where I started the search.
Dragon? What dragon?
As if we didn't have enough problems with demons already. Now there's a wild dragon in the vicinity. Luckily, it's not part of the demon army. If the demons had a dragon on their side, it could pose a serious threat. But there's very little food in the World Wound, and the dragon doesn't seem to have a taste for demons and cultists. She keeps attacking small squads of crusaders, picking off those who fall behind, ravaging supply trains. The dragon's been sighted frequently in the sky, but we don't know exactly where her lair is. We have someone to help with this, though. Do you remember the dwarf who bravely attacked the Baylor in front of the Citadel during the siege? He is back in the city, And he doesn't mind hunting this dragon, apparently. Go talk to him in the tavern. We might be able to help each other.
Is that all for now?
There are a few pleasant matters. At the Queen's command, the Crusaders who took part in the attack have had their pay doubled, and medals will be awarded to those who were particularly outstanding in battle. You know one of them. The Knight Elan from the Hound Hearts. He led a troop of Nerosian recruits and brought them to the main forces, and later drew the demons' attention in the battle with the Baylor, allowing the wounded to be rescued. There is one more thing. As you know, there is a vast dungeon under Dresden. It's empty now. None of those imprisoned by the demons survived, and we don't have any new prisoners. We've temporarily placed the body of Staunton Vane in the dungeon. You slew him. What are your orders regarding his body? Anevia thinks we should burn it quietly and forget about it. Some want to see his corpse displayed in the square, but I don't think we should behave like demons and barbarians. He may have been our enemy, but he deserved to be buried as a knight. However, the decision is yours, of course.
Yeah, burn the body quietly. If we bury him as a knight, then people are just gonna come and vandalize his grave.
Right you are, Commander. Commander. That day during the battle, No. My apologies. That is all, Commander. Thank you for your time.
I don't understand these cities that mortals love so much. Stone, stone, and more stone. All the doors are so close to the ground, and they're all the same shape. And don't they ever put the door on... Why don't they ever put the door on the top floor and slide down to the ground instead? Why do they even want to go outside if it's no fun out there? If somebody built a fountain full of jam, say, I'd understand. Or a chocolate tree, so people could break off a branch to munch on as they pass by. Huh? Who's speaking? Me? Don't tell me you didn't notice the cute little dragon following you. Well, how cute little dragon, if that's true, why did you only start speaking just now? Maybe I was a little shy. After all, we don't know each other. I had to take a look around and get used to things. Everything about the material plane is so weird and gray and stony, especially Dresden. What's your name, dragon? Aivu. Because I'm little. In my family our names get longer as we get bigger and older. Just imagine how funny it would be otherwise. Imagine being a 5-year-old dragon barely hatched, but they already call you Rezlarabrin, or Ithuliak, or something like that. So where did you come from? What do you mean, where did I come from? I flew all the way here to you. Well, I moved between the planes a tiny little bit, and then I flew the rest of the way to you. You've always wanted to have a dragon of your very own, haven't you? Who wouldn't want their own dragon companion? If I ever meet someone who doesn't want to have a dragon of their very own, I'll make sure to keep my distance from them. They clearly have a few screws loose. That's what I'm saying. So you don't like Dresden much, then? It's not that I don't like it. You can have fun here, too. But I liked my home in Elysium more. That makes sense, though. After all, we're fighting the demons, and they make everything around them all dull and nasty. But you're going to stop them soon, right? Oh, speaking of demons and fighting, you really need to head out to this beautiful ridge outside Dresden as fast as you can. Your friends are waiting for you there. There's something urgent and important they need to tell you. What friends? They're so nice. They were really happy to see me. They really want to see you. I only flew past them the once, so I don't know much, but it must be important. Wonder what's waiting for me this time. Something really fun. You'll see.
Guess I'm done with spells for tonight.
Yeah. And what's that thing? So what's fast healing? Oh, right. So social gets or religion, perception, persuasion, spell focus, enchantment. He also gets a bunch more spells. This spell cures 4d8 points of damage plus 1 point per caster level, and ends any and all of the following adverse conditions affecting you. Ability damage: blinded, confused, dazzled, diseased, exhausted, fatigued, nauseated, poisoned, and sickened. Oh, that's a personal spell. Huh. See, you are surrounded by a nimbus of golden light. Any evil creature striking you with unarmed strikes, natural weapons, or a handheld weapon deals normal damage, but at the same time the attacker takes 1d6 points of damage plus 1 point per caster level. Creatures wielding melee weapons with reach are not subject to this damage if they attack you. Spell resistance applies against this damage. You also take half damage from magical attacks with the evil descriptor. If such an attack allows a saving throw for half damage, you take no damage on a successful saving throw. And he gets boundless healing. Garen gets Knowledge Arcana, Knowledge World, Persuasion, Spell Penetration. Your spells break through spell resistance more easily than most. You have +2 bonus on caster level checks made to overcome a creature's spell resistance. Protection from alignment communal. Delay poison communal. Death ward. Magic nullification. Yeah. That doesn't seem all that great to me, because it also nullifies, like, buffs and other beneficial spells. Ember gets Knowledge Arcana, or Religion, Persuasion, Use Magic Device, Greater Spell Focus, Evocation, Hold Person, Remove Curse, Cure Critical Wounds. abundant casting. And Camellia gets... Trickery, Stealth, Fencing, Grace. Let's see. Animal Growth, Baleful Polymorph. Break Enchantment, Breath of Life. Call Lightning Storm, Cave Fangs, Cure Light Wounds Mass, Dominate Person, Flame Strike, Inflict Light Wounds Mass, Summon Nature's Ally 5, True Seeing. Always a chance. Oh, there's Arushale. Gotta go talk to her. Yeah, so this is as far as I got last time, so everything beyond this is just uncharted territory. I have no idea what's coming after this. Girl's ruby eyes stare watchfully at passers-by who don't notice her even at arm's length. She turns to you, her face a mixture of contemplation, sadness, and admiration. They're amazing, aren't they? We're being attacked by demons with unusual powers. Do you know anything about them? Back in Alushanira, there were rumors about terrible experiments that Baphomet and Descari performed on their troops to make them stronger. Here on the material plane, these rumors were embellished with lots of details. Some say the demons undergo rituals acquired from Zon Kuthan. Others say they feed on the blood of angels or Qlipoths, or demon lords. Still others say that there are no experiments and Baphomet is just bringing back fighters from the future. A future in which the demons have already taken all of Galarian. Is there a grain of truth in any of these ramblings? There's no way to know. Naturally, none of these rumors give any indication of where these demons come from. I'm sorry, I can't help. The only thing that's clear is that the lowly fighters in the army of the Abyss are as puzzled by this as we are. What are you doing here? I'm watching. I'm listening to their conversations, studying their faces, trying to understand what they truly are. Don't you think you're being a little creepy? What? Really? Why? I don't mean any harm. Why do you like to watch people? You know, in my old life, I thought I knew everything about them. I was a master of seduction, after all. I knew how to tempt a mortal into doing anything I required. I could trap them in a lie, or lie myself and never get caught. It's disgusting to remember, but that was my life for many centuries. Now I see I knew nothing. A demon warrior probably also considers himself an expert on mortals because he's killed so many of them. He certainly knows where to thrust the spear for a quick death and where to thrust it for a long and painful one. and he thinks that's enough. My knowledge, it was of the same kind. I ruined many mortals without learning the first thing about them. Now I watch them to understand them. This won't give my victims back their lives, of course, but still, by growing closer to these mortals, it's like I'm paying back some part of my debt to my victims' memories. Have you learned anything new about mortals? They love cats. Seriously, have your observations of humans led to anything? I wouldn't want to draw any rash conclusions. I've only been watching them for a short while. But I think I have understood one thing. The succubi have a saying, mortals always lie. If a mortal isn't talking, it means she's busy lying to herself. But now I see this isn't true. You mortals aren't liars, you're dreamers. Each of you creates a huge daydream for yourself and everyone you share your life with. It isn't exactly a lie because the daydream is your truth. Tell me about yourself. I'm afraid you won't like what I'm going to tell you. Where do succubi come from? Did you have a childhood? No. Well, yes, but in brief, the Abyss is nothing like the mortal world. You remember life since conception. No, wait, you don't remember that part, do you? But certainly you know everything since birth. We do not. Normally, when a human dies, the Lady of Graves decides which plane they go to. Most often, those who arrive in the Abyss turn into larvae. You know, those little worms no one notices until you step on them. They crawl in the mud for centuries, devouring each other, and the strongest ones turn into demons. I don't know how that transformation happens. Maybe we hatch out of them, like caterpillars out of butterflies. No, wait, it's the other way around. Or maybe greater demons sculpt us out of them, like so much clay. I don't know what happened to the larva that they used to make me, and my own memory begins with vague, fragmentary images, terrors, executions, orgies. I remember some poor lad half gnawed by the larva. He was crying and begging to be killed, and I pointed at him and laughed and said I wouldn't. Desna, forgive me, I'm so ashamed. How did you end up turning against the Abyss? Temptation. Strange, isn't it? So many people believe that being good is important, but it's boring and unpleasant, and all that's enjoyable and tempting pertains to evil. Even the servants of kind gods often think so, do they not? You have no idea how easy that makes the role of a temptress. Well, it was my great fortune to discover that it's not always like that. My last victim was a priestess of Desna, the Tender of Dreams. As you know, demons do not sleep. Mortals always compare their greatest moments to dreams, so I decided it would be interesting to see for myself. And while I was at it, forgive me, goddess, to mock Desna. The priestess lay in my arms, dying of my kiss. I remember every smallest detail. The cold sweat on her skin, her eyes rolled back into her head, her weak whisper. So difficult to recount. Well, I dove into her mind to see what mortal dreams were like. But the goddess saw me in her realm, and, it turned out, I remained there far longer than I planned. What did Desna do to you? As a punishment, she gave me mercy. I often think, why me? She could have easily blown me away like smoke with the flick of her finger. The gods rarely trouble themselves with the lives of mortals, and even less so with demons. But for reasons of her own, she paid me special attention. She awoke in me the memories of the sinners whose souls were used to create me. All those humans, I knew nothing of them until Desna showed me. Each of them had their own dreams, and a world without pity trampled each of them and placed them on a path that led to the Abyss. Their memories, all their hopes and pain. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to talk about this. The most important thing I realized was that every mortal is a little world of hopes and dreams, and that although I might be a succubus, I didn't have to live forever with those beastly, boring pleasures and tortures of the Abyss. I can be free, I can be myself, if only I can understand who I am. You don't know who you are? What of you? Do you know who you are? Are there many mortals who can make that claim? Before returning me to the mortal realm, Desna whispered something to me. I can still hear her words. She asked me, "And what do you dream of?" And I don't know. I still don't. You see, demons are simple creatures. Each is guided by 2 or 3 strong sins. Before my conversion, my sins were all I was. A ball of desire without anyone behind them doing the desiring. Desires for sex, for flattery, and food. But now I have me. And it's amazing, but it's so complicated. What did you do after Devna converted you? I traveled. In the beginning, I thought it wise to keep away from demons and their temptations, run off to Absalom or perhaps even further to another plane. But then I realized that I didn't deserve freedom yet. The abyss was still in me. It called to me, tempting me, seducing me. If I ran away, I would soon return to my old habits. That is why I came here, to join the war. To remember who my enemy is, to defeat the demons, not just for the mortal world, but for myself as well. Because if I don't kill my past, it will always be reaching for me. I'm a wonderful liar. I'm no longer proud of it, but it's still true. The demons never suspected my treason until the very end. I lived as a spy, and regularly reported back to the priests of Desna whatever I learned. Naturally, I concealed my identity from them as well. I would never have been caught, but when I learned that Discari was planning an attack on Canabres, there was no time for caution. I risked everything to warn you, and paid with my freedom. Amazing. The anarchy of the Abyss was slavery for you, but you found freedom in the army. Well, I'm not exactly marching in the infantry. Your operations bear little resemblance to battle by the laws of warfare. So, do you worship Desna now? The goddess did a lot for me, more than I ever deserved. Asking anything more for her would be impudent. I'm grateful to her, but I try not to trouble her with my prayers. May I ask you a personal question? The kind of question a mortal might ask a succubus. You want to talk about sex? Ask me anything. I'll not keep secrets from you, but don't expect to hear anything light-hearted or pleasant. The kiss of a succubus is deadly, isn't it? Not just the kiss. Any caress of any kind sucks the life from mortals, and there's nothing I can do about it. For mortals, tenderness is tenderness and violence is violence, but I don't know what it's like to kiss and not inflict pain. I just hope my observations of mortals will help me understand. Young lovers, old spouses, even what mortals condemn as promiscuity. To me it all looks like something amazingly human. You know, a drop of vital energy is a small price to pay for your kiss. Don't joke like that. For me, it's not a joke at all. I'm sorry, it wasn't meant to upset you. Never mind, just try not to tempt me. You know, it's hard for me to control myself. Wait, you mean you don't just watch people during the day out in the street? Well, I never touch anyone, I never harm anyone, I just watch and listen. Is that bad? No, it's not bad. Just don't get caught. I can promise you that. What is sex between demons like? Everything demons do is a sort of cannibalism. Each devours mortals and other demons in their own way. Some enjoy literally tearing off pieces of flesh with their teeth. Others like to subdue and turn their prey into slaves and living tools. Some feed on others' humiliation. It comes in different forms, but the essence is always the same. Another being is an object to be used for your own pleasure. Demon sex doesn't differ from any other type of violence. In my former life, it was something I did to others or others did to me. Only one person ever received pleasure, not the other. Do you still feel desire? I You see, on the one hand, my succubus nature remains with me. The desire I feel is the one from my old life. When I look at any mortal, I immediately imagine how... But that feeling, that desire, it's not what mortals feel. When you like someone, you don't ponder how good it would feel to drink their soul, do you? You think about how good it would feel to be together. Together, you see? You know how to want someone, and at the same time not want to destroy them. For me, it's always one and the same. I'm not even talking about love, it's just the common mutual affection of mortals when they're not poisoned with violence. Now I know that I've never felt it. It's hard to imagine how it's even possible. Tell me about life in the Abyss. I can't tell you about all of the Abyss, I've only seen a small part. If you like, I can tell you about the Midnight Isles and Alushanira. Tell me about the Midnight Isles. In the ocean of Ishiar, not far from the mouth of the river Styx, there is a chain of islands. This is the realm of Nocticula, the queen of the succubi. There is no sun there, only a moonlit night alternating with a moonless one. Each of the islands is one of Nocticula's trophies, the remains of a powerful entity that perished at her hands. As you see, you cannot take a step in the abyss without treading on corpses. Tell me about Alushanira. The Porphyry city is Nocticula's capital. There's no city like it in the mortal world. Absalom is a village in comparison. Millions, I don't exaggerate, millions of demons and mortals live there. Some come voluntarily, not only from Galarian, but from other planes as well. Nocticula keeps an open boundary and enjoys having many guests, merchants, and travelers in the city. Some arrive in chains. The slave trade is the most thriving business in the city. From afar, the city may seem a merry place. Many of its dwellers do enjoy themselves, until it's their turn to become someone else's toy. It's a city of suffering, Reynard, of cheerful, festive torments that everyone in the city inflicts on those around them. What are some places of interest in Alushanira? The heart of the business quarter is the flesh markets, where the slave trade takes place. I grew up in the mansion of Lady Valexia. Her house is always full of guests, doing their best to entertain her. Those whose performance is not to her liking risk remaining at her house forever. The main attraction of the succubi city is, of course, the brothels, the 10,000 delights. I need not tell you what they offer. If you can imagine it, someone is selling it. Not far from there you can find the harem of ardent dreams, which serves as a sort of city hall. Jamira, Nocticula's right hand and mayor of Alushanira, receives her visitors there. For those who prefer bloodier sport, there are many arenas in the city. The most famous of them is Battle Bliss. Battles run continuously, without breaks and without rules. It doesn't matter what trickery you use to win, it only matters how much fun the crowd is having. And above it all towers the House of Silken Shadows, Nocticula's palace. Hundreds, thousands of towers and domes adorned with jewels. There are legends of what happens inside. Many have striven to experience the delights of the succubi queen's palace, forgetting that it was built for her pleasure, not theirs. What can you tell me about Nocticula? She's called the Lady in Shadow. They say that she was the first succubus. She's far from the most powerful of the demon lords, but this hasn't kept her from being the ruin of many creatures significantly more powerful than herself, even building her kingdom upon their bones. They say that, like Lamashtu, she strives to turn herself from a demon lord into a true goddess. She enjoys killing, but her favorite tools are seduction and deception. She only stoops to crude violence when there are no other games to play, and even then she backstabs from the shadows. Her favorite weapon is a crossbow, though a silk garrote would suit her better. If you should ever meet her, do not believe a word she says, and do not fall for her provocations. Do not try to beat her at her own game, and most importantly remember, the worst mistake anyone can make is to underestimate her. What do you think of the powers I gave you? It's a great temptation. I don't know if I should be trusted with such power. I certainly wouldn't trust myself with it. When you have so much power, it's easy to decide you're a god, and the mortals are your toys. Perhaps I should wait until after we defeat the forces of the Abyss. But that's precisely what these powers are for. You take a great risk. I'm not sure I can handle the temptation. It's hard enough as it is. He's a very interesting character. Do you like silence? I used to talk a lot before, and all of it was a lie. My words ruined so much I like silence more now. Who's this? Greetings, Commander. My name is Arsino. I am a messenger from the Temple of Abadar in Absalom, and I came here assuming the defenders of the fortress could use the services of a cleric. Perhaps you've heard about the wound that sometimes opens in my chest. Are you familiar with this kind of ailment? So the wound was right here, and then it disappeared, and reappeared. Amazing. No, this is the first time I've ever heard of such magic. What do you think it might be? I think it is some kind of demonic corruption, or particles of chaos from the abyss that have entered through the wound into your body, and made it so unstable. It sounds quite interesting, incidentally. Judging from the records of researchers of the Abyss, stranger things have happened in this cursed place. Can you give me some advice on how to heal it? I am sure you have already used the purification and chaos warding spells, and for obvious reasons you do not have the option of leaving the campaign and going on a long pilgrimage to various shrines. Since that's the case, keep a diary. Make careful and systematic entries about your well-being. If it gets worse, record the circumstances under which it happens. I'm afraid this is the only advice I can offer right now. So she's the scroll merchant now. Let's see. Whenever two creatures wearing different halves of this pendant are within 10 feet distance to each other, each gets a +2 circumstance bonus on attack rolls and a +2 circumstance bonus to AC. Definitely getting more of these. Holy shit. I need more scrolls of restoration. Think I used 3 last time? See, this headband of wisdom +2 also grants its wearer a +2 enhancement bonus to charisma score. In addition, whenever the wearer of this headband lands a killing blow with a melee weapon, their next spell becomes empowered as though using the empower spell feat. All variable numeric effects of an empowered spell are increased by half, including bonuses to those rolls. Saving throws and opposed rolls are not affected, nor spells without random variables. Ooh, that's definitely something Ember should have. How much is that? 50,000? Maybe not right now. Mental form, mental might, mental flow. Which scroll scriber's kit do I have? 6. Yeah, I think these are all the same items that were sold before. I think I already know that. Yeah, I did. So what's in the temple?
Beautiful!
Hmm. Oh, this place! I remember this. Except now it's fixed. Eh. Yeah, nothing really interesting in here. See, tell me more about Abadar. I'd be delighted to. Abadar is the patron deity of law, trade, and the prosperity of cities. He teaches that law and order allow civilization to develop and keep people safe and wealthy. Iomedae and Abadar are allies, since Iomedae also holds order and nobility above all else. It's hardly surprising to see so many mighty fortresses and wonderful cities in Mendev bloom under her blessing. How did you end up in Dresden? My story has grown longer and longer over the years, yet sadly it never gets any more interesting. I was born and raised in Absalom. Soon I realized that bringing the word of Abadar to places where it's already been heard was too easy a challenge for a cleric like me. I have traveled all across Galarian since then, watching civilization bring enlightenment to the wildest of places. This brings joy to my heart and makes me feel like I serve my God with my deeds and not only with my words. The tiny barony and the stolen lands that has been my home for a very long time eventually turned into a strong and prosperous kingdom, and I felt that I had to go somewhere else and bring the blessing of Abadar to someone who really needed it. It will take quite a long time for Dresden to recover and become an unfailing stronghold once again. I will do my very best to help. Yeah, now that I think about it, the name Arsinoe does sound familiar. Don't remember where exactly I saw her, though. Yeah, because I think, like, the main cleric of your city and Kingmaker is a cleric of Erastil. You're an Azamar, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yes, I am an Azamar. Hard to miss, isn't it? I look exactly like my great-great-grandmother, but I am the only one among my kin to have Azamar blood manifest so visibly in my appearance. I have to admit that it is a very fortunate coincidence. My Azamar features are rather appealing and make people trust me more easily. This is a good quality to have for a priestess wishing to gather a congregation. I see that you have consecrated the altar of Abadar. So I have. And before you ask me why I did this when there is a temple of Iomedae in Dresden, I will answer. Even though my god is the ally of the inheritor, some still prefer to pray and trust in Abadar instead of her. After all, my humble altar is no worse at removing the corruption of the abyss than the grandiose altar in the temple of Iomedae. Yeah, this is a pretty big place. Oh, there's Sela.
Hello. So, what do you reckon about everything that's come crashing down on us? All the responsibility, command, this new power?
I haven't figured it out yet. We'll see what happens next.
Watching and waiting is a good strategy. Probably. I'm still frightened by what happened in the Grey Garrison. Were we really chosen? By Iomade herself? You know, back when I was a snot-nosed kid who just started down the path to becoming a paladin, I imagined once or twice that I was going to do something heroic. The lights would shine down on me, the trumpets would sing, I'd hear the voice of the goddess, or at least her herald, you know? I'd be informed that I had been chosen for a great cause. But that's the point where my imagination always failed me. Somehow, it really happened. Without all the trumpets or the herald or even anyone explaining what I had to do. Though it's clear as day, my place is here, in this demon-ridden wound. Quite a lovely war going on, in fact. Endless, I hear. I'm gonna need some time to wrap my head around this. Spare me an hour and I'll crawl into some dark corner and whine about my hard lot. What can I tell you? I cry easily.
The fate of the League of the Card affected you greatly. So you could say, I did what I thought was right. I tried to help a good person with their troubles. And what came of it? I'm sorry, but I won't find peace until I track down Curl and Janna. What were they thinking? Is there any way to get through to them? Or should I just admit I was terribly wrong? There's another thing that's worrying me. The way people react to your power, and mine. They think that if we've been chosen by Iomade, they need to pray at our feet. I'm not comfortable with the younger warriors hanging on my every word. I feel alone. Nobody else is gonna sit with me and celebrate saving a beer cart. And I'd like to regain, if not the friendship, at least the trust of the other knights. Especially those I respect and consider my friends, like Elan. See, there are still some Sunrise Sword Crusaders. What do the barracks looks like now? Hey, there's Elan.
Let's see what we can do.
Hey, there's land. Nothing more to say, huh? There's the exit. What are you doing? Abandoned building. Wait a minute. This looks familiar.
Here we go.
What's this? There once was a ram-headed lad named Baphomet. Everybody laughed at Baphomet, both demons and cultists alike. Baphomet cried a lot, then ran to his mama Lamashtu. No one likes me, and they say I'm strange. And to that Lamashtu said, "You're perfectly fine, my boy. Just please quit your bleeding, or better yet go chew some more grass." There once was a demon named Descari, and his swarm was driving him crazy, all buzzy and bitey. No matter what he tried, he just couldn't get rid of them. So he went to a demon healer for some poison. A week passed, then the healer asked him, "How's the poison? The locusts all gone now?" And Descari said, "I drank the whole bottle and I completely forgot about those pests. Thing is, now I need something for this killer constipation." Descari says to Baphomet, "Looky here at these nags I bought from my stables. Pure demon stock. If you mount one, it'll get you to the edge of the abyss in a flash. Big deal. Lamashtu is so much better. Once I mounted her, I got promoted to Demon Lord." Once some cultists caught a Mendevian crusader and went about torturing him. "Tell us when we should attack you." "Right now. Our fortresses are ruined, our cities are starving, and the people are fleeing. We could really use some prisoners." A soldier asks his officer, "How come Baylors have red skin?" The officer says, "You see, there are these monkeys with asses that are bright red, but Baylor skin is all red." "Exactly! That's because a Baylord is one big ass." Yeah, I'm taking that. What's this?
I can handle it. Can't make the demons wait.
Oh, here's this group again. There's Ember. Anything more to say? Nope. There's Social. The prison. Oh yeah, this was where we found... Wait, was it? Or was that somewhere else? I think it was. There's Horgus Squirm. There you are. I've been waiting. As you see, I too have joined the crusade. Wait, didn't he say this already?
Beautiful.
One-eyed devil? Fine day to you, Commander. Welcome to the One-Eyed Devil's trading house. Trading house? It's just a shop. Ah, that depends. There was a time when I had nothing in my pockets but holes. But did I consider myself poor? No, I considered myself a rich man who was temporarily down on his luck. Optimism is important not only on the battlefield, Commander. You are the leader of a victorious army that will be chopping all the demons into mincemeat sooner or later. I am the owner of a trade empire, which, as you see, is only starting to grow. How did a tiefling end up on the side of the Crusaders? The answer is simple, the simplest thing there is. This is a good world, and I like living in it. Besides, it's the only one we've got. I'd love to know what's going on in the heads of the dimwits who are helping the demons destroy it. My best guess is that their horns grow inward, so there's no room for brains. I'm from Cheliax. Tieflings don't surprise anyone there, and they don't like demons any more than we do here. And why should they? The gods went to all the trouble of creating this world. Even Lord Asmodeus and his devils helped with the construction. And now these freeloaders show up after all the hard work is done just to gorge and break things. It doesn't matter who you pray to. If you want to live, it's your duty to help. Isn't that a risky name for a store for crusaders? Ah yes, a week doesn't go by without some dimwit boiling over. Well, they don't pay me to explain the difference between allies and enemies, devils and demons, Lord Asmodeus and all the riffraff like Baphomet and Descari, so they can go hang. Here's what I think. If you like it, you buy it. You don't like it, keep moving. If you're spoiling for a fight, take yourself off to the tavern. Why are your prices so high? We're saving the world from demons, and that includes you. That's some claim. Did you hear that, good people? First of all, my prices are perfectly fair. They're no higher than you'd find anywhere else. Second, who's saving who here? Are you prepared to eat bark and fight with rocks and sticks? You know, I have open contracts with dozens of suppliers. I arrange deliveries and do whatever it takes to get you sharper weapons, better magical items, better food, and you're throwing the extra expense in my face? This is the thanks I get for honest work. What happened to your eye? Should I make up a story about a heroic fight with a horde of demons? Truth be told, this is how it happened. Back when I was a snot-nosed kid, I had just opened my first business selling pies on the street. The local lads quickly took notice of me and offered me protection in return for a small share of profits. The usual, you know, but I was so young, inexperienced, and greedy, so I told them to bugger off. Well, they caught me and taught me a lesson. They took it too far, though. I paid for the lesson with my eye, not just bumps and bruises. It's funny to remember it now, but back then while it was happening, I was so scared. I thought they'd beat me to death. I remember I came running home in tears and my mom just started screaming. I didn't have a clue why, then I looked in the mirror and saw there were Saw there were just shreds and mush where one of my eyes should be. I remembered that lesson all my life. Ever since that day when I start a business, I find some reliable business partners first. If I'd been born in a merchant family, my parents would have warned me about this, and plenty of other things too. But I was a poor lad, so I had to learn everything the hard way. It's a miracle how many times I escaped death by a hair's breadth. In fact, it's lucky all I lost was one eye. I can afford a new eye now, of course, but you know, I just can't find the time. It will cost a tidy sum, and I don't want to take it out of the earnings. And besides, being the one-eyed devil is a big selling point for me. I'd be a fool to get my eye back, only to have to keep it hidden under a patch. Have you heard about my new powers? What do you make of them? People are saying bad things about you, Commander. To be clear, the speakers may not see anything bad in what they say, but I do. They say you're the chosen of Desna, the most insignificant of all the goddesses. The only thing she knows how to do is flap her butterfly wings and meddle in the affairs of others. They also say you're not a patch on the other crusade leaders, and that you'll accept absolutely anyone under your banner. A former thief, a goblin, a kobold, even a stump with eyes. And you've got yourself quite the troublesome pet. I could understand a serious battle dragon, but this misbegotten thing with dragonfly wings? She gives you as much trouble as a flock of hundreds of sparrows, and what good does it do you? It's bad business to associate with such creatures. I prefer devils myself, as the terms are clearly laid out in the contract. I don't know where this is coming from, but let's go with it. Oh, there's Helor. There's Nenio. So, the experiment. I will need some supplies for this one. Boy, please bring me a bottle of alcohol. Any will do. And please hurry up. Science can't wait. I brought a bottle of alcohol for you. Here it is, my path to learning the true values of humanity from the perspective of the lowliest man on the street. Open it. This experiment definitely won't work if we don't open it. You always carry a corkscrew up your sleeve? Don't be preposterous. I am always meticulous when it comes to preparing for my experiments. I plan for every eventuality. Alright, I admit it, that's not true. But I have truly prepared for this particular experiment. What is this experiment going to be about? I'm taking a huge risk with this experiment. I'm putting my reputation, my good name, and even my future on the line. With the help of this bottle, I will lower myself to the level of the average man on the street, and I will try to understand the mentality of someone wholly devoid of intelligence. You surely know, maybe even from personal experience, that alcohol dampens mental activity and is a catalyst for stupidity. With a brain like mine, alcohol is the only way to find out what it feels like to be an idiot. You're talking as if you've never tried alcohol before. I haven't. I never saw the point of it. Fine, let's get started. Well, let's begin. Yeah, that was kind of how I reacted the first time I had alcohol. How many heroic acts did Iomade perform? 11, of course. She did all manner of things. Turned her cloak into a bridge, created a powerful artifact out of nowhere using just her broken sword and a bit of prayer, and even talked some undead into throwing himself upon his sword. By the way, did you know that if you question the authenticity of these acts in the center of Iomede's Cathedral in Nerosian, you can get a boot-shaped bruise right in the lower of your back? It would seem I'm not drunk enough yet. Right. Seems to be working. Now, I need to come up with an idea right now. I usually have a ton of ideas. Let's see now. Deskari and Baphomet. Their anti-Crusader alliance is not effective enough. They need to unite their forces on the physical level. Baphomet needs to mount Deskari and ride him into battle, 2 in 1. Yes, this experiment was successful. I am definitely drunk. So, how does it feel to be drunk for the first time in your life, from a scientific point of view? Terrific. I have definitely become more stupid. More than that, I am as dumb as a box of rocks, and now I don't give a rat's ass about science. Wait, I think I've got it. That's how men on the street see science. They don't give a rat's ass about it. Who cares how many heroic acts Iomade performed? 1,000,000 or not a single one. Iomade is over there, whereas the bottle is right here, where it belongs. Congratulations, I guess. Now what? That's it for now. The experiment was a success. Just a moment. Alright, I'm fine now. What was that? What was what? A moment ago you were drunk as a skunk and now all of a sudden you're stone cold sober. Is that so? It seems that is indeed what happened. Clearly I decided to forget the incident entirely because I no longer need this information. What I need right now is to write an article for the encyclopedia about the influence that alcohol has on an individual's mind. So you can simply forget you were drunk and sober up just like that. I have simply blocked the deleterious effects of alcohol from my mind. To put it in basic terms, I just forgot I'd consumed alcohol. The mechanism is similar to the one I use to get rid of irrelevant memories. It's not overly complicated if you know how to do it. Your abilities are just amazing. What? What were we talking about? Alright, happy I could help. On behalf of future generations, I formally thank you for your assistance in this momentous experiment.
Let's see what we can do.
Eh. Jewelry artisan? Is this where Derek Sunhammer works? Huh. Oh, this is where Derek Sunhammer works. Bracers of armor +2. Ring of protection. Amulet of agile fists. Amulet of mighty fists. Hmm. By the Tavern Keeper. The Knight Commander at my establishment. What an honor. My name is Phi Keto. I'm the owner of the Half Measure. How should I address you? I ask because some don't like undue familiarity while others scoff at the tediousness of ceremony and titles. You may call me by my name. Theo, I know your name, of course. Who in Dresden doesn't? So what can I do for you? Wine, a meal, a heart-to-heart talk? Let's see what you have on offer. Goggles of Malocchio. These goggles grant the wearer +10 competence bonus on perception checks. Whenever the wearer confirms a critical hit with any bow, the target becomes disoriented 1d4 rounds, suffering a -4 circumstance penalty to initiative checks, attack rolls, athletic, and perception checks. Huh. Ooh, potions! Gimme! Not those, though. Those are useless now. If there's a tavern in the city, then that means all must be well. Let's raise a glass to Kate and Galian. May your barrels never run dry. An excellent idea. To the accidental god, may he show us wisdom at the bottom of the glass. How is it that such a young lad owns a tavern? Before the siege of Dresden, the half-measure belonged to a distant relative. I won't bore you with the details of how his family died. Just 3 words, demon worshippers and sacrifice, should be enough. Now that the city has been liberated, the authorities and Iomede's church will be returning what remains to the lawful heirs of the deceased. They take these things seriously in Mendev. The half-measure is a strange name for a tavern. Oh, that's a family story. It's not for the faint-hearted, but you're not one of those, are you? One day, before the wardstones were erected, a peasant family got lost on the way to the fair and ended up near the borders of the World Wound. They stumbled upon a bored demon, who killed the father right away. He then asked the mother if she'd prefer him to take all her children or only half of them. The sobbing woman looked at her 3 darlings and said, "Half." The demon promptly cut the arms and legs off all the 3 children and said, "I guess that's even," and disappeared. People across Dresden heard this story after the family found shelter at the local temple of Iomede. For many years, they saved up for a regeneration spell so the children could be made whole again. They eventually scraped together enough for just one scroll, and decided to give it to the youngest child, give the youngest child a second chance at life. He soon became the tavern's first owner, and called it the half measure in memory of his family and the terrible incident with the demon. He had a good life for a time, got himself married, and always planned to help his brother and sister, though he never got a proper chance. When the demons had Dresden surrounded, the poor cripples tried to run for their lives, but they died on the spot. The brother and his wife died a little later at the hands of deserters. There were rumors that the same demon that butchered the family came to Dresden and made a den of the half measure. If that's true, I guess he got what he deserved when you freed the city. That's the story. Shit, I don't remember what I fought in here. Why do you like sitting on the counter? 2 reasons. Dresden isn't the biggest city, but it still has a few taverns and pubs. To compete with the others, I need people to remember my establishment, and myself. That's the first reason. A tavern keeper who sits on the counter definitely sticks out from the others who prefer to stand behind their bars all dignified. Believe me, you're not the first one to ask. Sooner or later, every customer does. The second reason is the place's atmosphere. People should feel relaxed here. Life near the World Wound is hard enough. Folks don't go to taverns looking to cause each other more trouble, so I allow certain liberties, myself included. I'm even thinking of hosting an invigorating brawl here on the 5th of every month. I'll let my favorite customers break glasses and swing on the chandelier. What's the feeling here in the city? I can only tell you about my customers. They're mostly working folks, the ones who are rebuilding what's been destroyed, along with soldiers and some merchants. Overall, spirits are high as they can be in Mendev, nation of rattling sabers and fluttering banners. Everyone loves it when the demons get their horns, tails, and other parts handed to them. They've already forgotten that we nearly lost Canabras. War is like that. People live for one day, and that day is tomorrow, not yesterday. You've been a source of joy and inspiration for everyone as well. A simple lad leading the fight against the demons, and defeating them, and running rings around all the arrogant Queen's knights. Haha, people like stories like that. Glad to hear I'm a source of hope and inspiration. You know what my mother used to say back when she was alive? Little smiles grow into big victories. Let's drink to that. Another round on the house. What do your customers say about my new powers? They talk about you so much that you could fill a hefty tome with theories about your birth alone. You may be the new herald of Desna, or perhaps her son. You were born from a beautiful flower, or you fell to Galarian with the falling stars of Numeria. The earth blossoms under your feet and water turns to ale. Incidentally, if this last one is true, please don't perform that miracle too often, or you'll drive down my prices. Forgive me, but your little dragon has caused a stir among the townsfolk. She pokes her nose in everywhere. I recently found her in a pickle barrel, and she scolded me for keeping yucky things in the basement instead of goodies. But I don't mind. Small and relatively harmless dragons do attract customers, and they cause a not excessive amount of damage. Oh, there's Greybore. Might as well talk to him while I'm here.
How can I help you?
Who are you?
Don't you remember our last meeting? The name is Greybore. I'm an assassin for hire. But I suspect you're not here for small talk. Are you in need of my services?
You tried to kill that huge demon at the Battle of Dresden, but you failed. What happened?
Yes, that was a failure. It was supposed to be a clean job. An anonymous client, a worthy target, a substantial fee. But the client insisted that I use an enchanted dagger they provided. I was assured that a single hit would be enough to finish the job, but it didn't work as expected. It was a serious blow to my reputation. and my reputation is everything to me.
I want to hire you for a dragon hunt.
A large adult female? The one that's been snatching people and carrying them off? I've heard about her. That's an impressive target. I can take this job, but only if we do it soon. I'm expecting a new assignment from my regular client, and I'll have to leave as soon as I have the orders. And of course, you should know that this dragon will not come cheaply. 2,500 gold, paid in advance.
Okay.
Excellent. Let's get down to business. It's no easy thing to take down a dragon when you don't have wings, so you'll need to follow my lead. The best thing would be to catch her by surprise in her lair, but we need to find it first. Of course, since she doesn't leave tracks, that might be tricky, but I think I have a solution. We need to go west of Dresden, to the Grimwood Forest. The dragon's been seen there often. According to the scouts, this is likely because there's still some wild game left in those parts. We'll set up an ambush there. I hope I can rely on your honesty. I understand that on our way to the dragon, there may be other fights or places we need to visit for various reasons. That's to be expected. However, should I see that you are deliberately delaying the contract, or that you're dragging me off to assault some demon citadel instead of going after the dragon, we will have to revise the terms of our agreement.
Is he in my party now? Yep. And he's neutral. Kind of expected him to be lawful neutral. But what's he got for equipment? A dwarven war axe and a hand axe. Yeah, that's better than anything I have here. How about armor? Ah, he worships Norgorber. The light armor and medium armor. What is he anyway? A Slayer. I thought so. He's got breastplate +2. Eh. Yeah, he just sells cold iron weapons. And some other weapons. You going to manage the fortress now? No way, Commander. Not in a million years. I can manage an expedition just fine, but running a fortress is a different kettle of fish. That's enough work to make a man's head explode, which is why they sent us an expert from Nerosium. Her name is Dorgalinda Stranglehold. I've seen how she handles things. She knows what she's about, that one, Iomade bless her. She'll be managing the fortress, and I'll keep taking care of the soldiers just like I've been doing. Great sword, great axe, heavy flail, flail, heavy mace, club, light mace, scimitar, rapier, long sword +3, shot keen longbow, wave, adamantine chain shirt. That's the same stats as a mithril chain shirt. Mithril chain shirt +3. Ooh, a bag of holding. Definitely gonna get that. And the rest is all stuff I've seen before. Exotic weapons provider?
I can handle it.
Yeah, this place is huge. Huh? Oh, I'm not sure the people in this district will be happy about this. hear the Song of Elysium playing in the background. Jewelry trader. Adds +2 to all the DCs for all saving throws against mind-affecting abilities used by the wielder. It also grants +4 morale bonus on saving throws against mind-affecting and compulsion effects. Racers of Armor +5. Enlivening Leadership. This ring grants the wearer a +5 competence bonus on persuasion checks and grants their companions a +1 morale bonus on all skill checks. Mighty Fists +3. Natural Armor +3. Ring of Protection +3. Goggles of Pure Sight? Allow the wearer to take 20 on their next Dispel magic attempt once per day. They also grant a +1 bonus to caster level checks made to overcome spell resistance. Arcane Weaver? Oh, they sell clothes. Shirt of Blazing Fighter. This shirt grants the wearer a +5 competence bonus to athletics skill checks and fire resistance 30. Not +5 knowledge world, +5 persuasion, and +2 to charisma. If the wearer lands a hit on an enemy first time in a round, the enemy must pass a fortitude saving throw or be partially skinned. Those who fail the save become staggered and take 2 points of constitution drain per round for 1d4 rounds. Book resistance, lesser gloves of dueling. Celestial protection. +5 resistance to saving throws against demons and +5 competence to lore religion. Robe of Order. If the wearer of this robe has a key pool, the robe increases it by 2. If the wearer is of lawful alignment, it grants a +2 bonus on attack rolls against chaotic enemies. This robe can only be worn by a monk. I feel like that part about the wearer being a lawful alignment is kind of redundant. I mean, monks are required to be lawful. Whenever the wearer of this cloak channels energy to harm undead, for the next 2 rounds they become surrounded with a fire shield that deals 1d6 plus character level fire damage to the attackers for each successful melee attack against the wearer. Then a bunch of scrolls. Wand of Enlarge Person. 33 charges. Shocking Grasp. 45 charges. Scroll of Soul Reaver? This potent death spell deals 1d6 points of damage per caster level. Maximum 20d6. So this would be 15d6 to living creatures in the area of effect. Holy shit. Oh, there's Darren. Ah, Reynard, hello there. I'm feeling uncharacteristically pensive right now. Or rather, I'm finding it rather difficult to put my thoughts into words today. I'm trying to understand something. We've been traveling together for a while now. What's your opinion of me? Does this just result in an instant game over? Because that's what it sounded like. You don't let anyone get close. There might be a good reason for that, but you can always count on me if you ever need any kind of support. Have you any idea how terribly insipid you sound? Throw in some extra nonsense like, you can confide in me and I'll be adamant that you were raised by a couple of trite playwrights who put you to sleep by reading their boring scribblings on the workings of the heart. Fine. Do you know why I asked you that? Because the answer to the question, what do you think about me, usually reveals more about the one doing the answering than the one doing the asking. Now that I've got you thinking, let's proceed to the usual small talk. Camellia, still being creepy?
Can't make the demons wait.
Yeah, this is where I fought that giant spider. So that's what the Sword of Valor looks like now. Alright, let's go inside. Everbright Crusaders reporting for duty. My name is Char Kobelin, and I'm at your service. Queen Galfrey is gathering the main attack forces in Nerosian. She ordered us to replenish the losses suffered in Canabras and come here. We will support your troops. We are ready to go to the front immediately. Allow us to be at the spear of the attack. Morveg, don't speak unless spoken to. Don't worry, no one will be defeating any demons without you. Who have you brought with you? Everbright Crusaders mainly, but we have a lot of volunteers who joined us. Those who arrived at the Queen's call but didn't want to sit in Nerosian waiting for the main army to set off. All the hotheads know that the front is here. We picked up this one too. He walked to Canabras with an old sword in his hand and a few copper coins in his pocket. He was going to keep walking to kill the demons, and then he would probably have laid siege to Threshold, no doubt. Did you fight in Canabras? How are things there? Not personally, no. The Queen summoned me and the bulk of our order to Nerosian. Almost all those who remained behind in Canabras died, and the ones who didn't were disorganized and leaderless. But the order did not perish. New volunteers have been pouring into our ranks. We are licking our wounds. Canabras is rebuilding. Life wins out. People are coming from all over Avestan to help. Many are joining up with the Crusaders, just as it happened back in the First Crusade. Great, you will be serving under my command. It is an honor for us, Commander. Let's give the demons a dusting. Oh, there's Regil. Look who it is! Hi! Have you figured out how the demons have been sneaking up on us? No dice. Our scouts crawled all over the area, down every hole. Nothing. The Grey Road was completely empty, and then, bam! A whole army popped up like a jack-in-the-box. My only lead is a few scouts who didn't come back from the gorges to the southwest. But we found no sign of secret paths or underground passageways, and definitely no route we can use to quietly move a large force through. But I feel it in my gut, there's some evil scum out there. We just have to look harder. Of course, I could send out more scouts, but they might just disappear like the first ones. Why don't you go there yourself and find out what's what? What do you think of my new powers? I don't know if this counts as blasphemy or whatever, but you look like Desna just had her wicked way with you. You've got a bit of that divine sass about you now. And the dragon? I'm a little put out that I didn't get to see how you flew on the thing in battle, sending the demons running scared, grabbing whatever they could and hightailing it out of there. Did you find out anything about where Minago is now? Nope. Zero. Zilch. A whole lot of nothing. The scum melted into thin air. Soldiers saw her jump out the window, run through the square in front of the citadel, and suddenly disappear. We haven't heard anything from her since, and I don't like it. I'm telling you, this is bad. First of all, her kind don't just give up. If we can't see her, it means she's setting a trap for us somewhere we won't expect. Like spiders. I mean, it would be great if the Demon's Lords just gobbled her up for all her failures, but I think that's too much to hope for. But that's not the worst part. We have a more interesting question, you know? I wonder how she teleported from the city, if by that time you'd already hung the banner. The soldiers are saying it probably wasn't in full force by then, but you and I both know that's dross. She wasn't supposed to be able to teleport, but she did. Question is, how? Hey, Real Jill, what's up? Nothing new, apparently. How's the Eagle Watch doing in Canabras? Everything is going well. I was wary of handing over the reins at first. I was afraid that everything would fall apart without Anivia and me. But I took a risk and left a very clever lad in charge. A tiefling, as it happens. He infiltrated the cult alone. They couldn't imagine a tiefling wouldn't be on their side. He exposed an entire cell. I personally knighted him just before the city was attacked. Of course, there were many who weren't happy about it, but it's not my job to make people happy. He wasn't disappointed. He's built up the Order's ranks again and is running everything so smoothly it's as if the demon attack never happened. He's proven more than once that I left Canabras in good hands, but I admit it's still strange to think that such a small order as the Eagle Watch now has 2 chapters, one in Dresden and one in Canabras. We need to talk about what happened during the attack on Dresden. Yes, I was shamefully faint-hearted. Praise Iomade it didn't affect the course of the battle. Still, my behavior was unworthy of a knight, even less a commander. Under the circumstances, leaving my position would be tantamount to desertion. Still, as your advisor, I strongly recommend you release me from my position as head of the Order, strip me of my knighthood, and send me to serve in the Condemned. Oh cool, there's no way this can fail. You deserve these titles more than you. Don't blame yourself. Under the circumstances, you did everything possible and more besides. Thank you, Commander. Thank you for still trusting me. More than anyone else does in this crusade, even more than I trust myself. Anything else in here? Oh, there's the balcony. Is that thing following me? What is that? Looks like a squirrel. Oh, these are my quarters. Oh hey, I held on to this barding. Maybe... Aww. Can't even equip that. Can equip a cloak though. Wait. This can be equipped? Where? Well, that's disappointing. Now, didn't I have something... Announces a quarry. Can Greyboar do that? No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, he won't be able to do that until level 14. Forgot to give her this. Yep, that's pretty much the same sword.
Beautiful.
And that just leads back outside. Okay, while I'm here, let's take a look at this. see. Part of the fortress wall sustained damage in a demon attack. As now that you have captured Dresden, new options for the crusade have become available to you. You can now construct buildings in forts in Dresden, issue decrees, and capture and investigate new regions. Both mercenary and trainable units will appear in the commander's headquarters in Dresden. The demon armies will try to take Dresden from you. Destroy them, or else after 7 days of siege, Dresden will be completely blockaded by enemy forces and you will no longer be able to command the crusade. To access the crusade management menu, click the button in the bottom right corner of the screen on the global map. Developing each of the crusade stats opens up new options that empower your armies and economy. Military focuses on drilling and training units. Recruit both trainable and mercenary units to improve the rank of your military stat. Logistics focuses on economy and construction. Construct buildings to improve the rank of your logistics stat. Diplomacy focuses on establishing contacts with mercenaries and foreign nations. Enhance the significance of the crusade by earning resources of all types to improve your rank in the diplomacy stat. Leadership focuses on morale and enemy army generals. Win battles and level up your generals to improve the rank of your leadership stat. Once the rank up requirements for one of the Crusader stats has been met, you will unlock the corresponding decree. Your military campaign will require 3 types of resources: finance points, materials points, and energy points. Finance points are used for all of the Crusade's various needs, but first and foremost they are needed to recruit units. Materials points are used primarily for building construction. Energy points are used for the recruitment of mythic units and the completion of certain decrees. You gain new resource points each day. Prevailing over demon armies in battle and constructing certain buildings increase the income of resources. You can also purchase the required resources with gold. Part of the fortress wall sustained damage in a demon attack on Dresden. A number of buried golems covered in dwarven runes were discovered among the collapsed stones. Upon hearing this news, a member of a dwarven clan has contacted the commander and claimed that the golems belong to them. What should be done with the golems? So I guess I need to find Woljif before I can do that 4th option. A special messenger from Galfrey was delivering a missive to Dresden and ran into a sentry patrol by accident. Alas, the soldiers took the messenger for an enemy and attempted to search him, which ran contrary to the messenger's instructions. The sentries were killed and the messenger has arrived in Dresden, now awaiting the commander's judgment. Who was the messenger that was able to take out an entire sentry patrol? How is morale? You can only have one of your decrees issued for each of the crusade stats at any given time. Each decree has a cost and a completion time. Some decrees can only be issued once, others have a repeat time, which is displayed in the decree description window. Your progress in crusade management unlocks certain special decrees. A stat rank up decree becomes available upon meeting a specific rank up requirement. A relic upgrade decree, which turns a relic into a powerful artifact for your party to use, becomes available when you obtain a suitable relic. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle all this. Alright, I think I'll end it there for now. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you all again some other time.